Does that mean this is Scar's daughter? Rose mumbled as a tear rolled down her face. Here, take these chocolates, Scarlett said, handing Iris a bunch of chocolates. Thanta buddy, I love you, Iris said happily. I love you more, baby. Now shall we go? We have to give chocolates to Selena Aunt too, and don't you want to meet Grandpa and Grandma? Scarlett asked. Yes, let's go, Iris said, jumping excitedly on the bed. Scar lifted her little princess in her arms and took her downstairs, not even noticing Rose standing at the doorway. Rose was speechless. She didn't know how to react. Should she be angry at them for not telling her beforehand? But she hadn't even been asked for her consent in this marriage. Should she talk to Scarlett? Should she cry or be happy? Lost in such deep thoughts, she didn't realize it had already become night. She just kept sitting on her bed thinking. Finally, she decided to take a bath to refresh her mind. She went into the shower and turned it on. As the warm water ran down her body, it relaxed her. She was completely drenched, lost in her thoughts, when suddenly a small bat flew into the washroom out of nowhere. Rose screamed loudly as the bat flew from one end of the bathroom to the other. Scarlett, who had just entered the room after a long day, heard her scream and immediately ran toward the washroom. Luckily, the door was open. Mouse, she called. Rose ran to her and hugged her tightly in fear. Bat, there's a bat, she stammered. Where is it? Scar asked. They're up there, Rose said, hiding her face against her. There's nothing there, Scarlett said, holding the scared girl in her arms. Look yourself, Rose insisted, but when she looked around again, there was nothing. Then their eyes met, and reality struck them hard. They were inside the bathroom, hugging each other. Rose's drenched body was pressed close to Scar's clothed one. Their faces were inches apart. If either of them spoke, their lips might touch. They could feel each other's heartbeat and breath. Heat rose between them at such close proximity. Scarlett tried very hard not to look at the woman in front of her. It was the first time she had seen her like this, and she struggled to control herself. I'll go outside, Scarlett said abruptly, stepping back. Rose didn't even have the courage to look up. She just nodded shyly, covering herself. When Rose came out of the washroom later, she felt extremely embarrassed to face Scarlett after their heated moment under the shower, and Scarlett felt just as awkward. Inside. Rose tried to say something, but the words wouldn't come out. Scarlett took a deep breath and held her shoulders. Calm down. It was just me, okay? She said softly. Rose was anxious without any clear reason. Scarlett cupped her face and said, looking into her eyes, It's me. Trust me. Whatever I saw, I'm not going to tell anyone. Relax. Rose shook her head. I know, Scar. I'm just too embarrassed to face you, she finally admitted. No need to be embarrassed. It's okay. It's me, Scarlett said with a reassuring smile. What about Iris? Rose asked, changing the topic. Oh yes, I didn't tell you about Iris. I know you should have known. It's your right, but... Scarlett was interrupted by a small voice from the door. Buddy, I'm sleepy. Please let me sleep with you, the little girl said cutely in her tiny night suit, her eyes half closed. My baby is sleepy, Scarlett said, picking her up. Yuri, Iris said, stretching her arms. Scarlett signaled Rose to wait and took Iris to bed. They cuddled together, and in her half-sleep, Iris murmured, My cute buddy. Rose was left stunned. That was my line, she thought, pouting. Don't pout, Mouse, she heard Scar whisper, followed by a wink. Later, Rose was standing quietly on the balcony when Scar came from behind, after putting Iris to sleep, and said softly, Iris is my daughter. Rose's heart almost stopped the moment she heard those words. I mean, Iris is everyone's daughter, Scar quickly added. That only confused Rose more. What do you mean? She asked. Scar sighed deeply and, looking up at the star-filled night sky, said, Iris is my sister's daughter. Aunt Diana is her grandmother. My sister was brain dead when she was 3 months pregnant. Her husband died in a car crash. She was kept alive on a ventilator for 6 months just so Iris could be delivered. Scarlett's voice choked as she remembered the painful past. Composing herself, she turned toward Rose and continued, Iris has never seen her real parents. She never received her mother's love. She never got to go out with her dad. And I don't want her to ever feel that emptiness. I never want her to feel that she doesn't have a mother or a father. All of us here try day and night to make sure she never feels that way." She finished speaking with tears in her eyes and quickly turned away to hide them. While Scarlett was talking, Rose had been looking at the little girl sleeping peacefully on the bed like a cute bunny. She slowly walked toward her, leaving Scar behind. Scarlett followed. Rose sat beside Iris and gently kissed her forehead. It felt as if something from the little girl touched her heart deeply. In that very moment, a bond formed between them, wrapping them in a sphere of tenderness. Scarlett smiled, watching them, and softly asked, "Will you watch a movie?" Rose knew very well that Scarlett wanted to sleep, but was too stubborn to admit it. Today, however, Rose was in a different mood. "No, I have to go to college tomorrow. I'm going to sleep," she said deliberately and lay down on her side of the bed. Scarlett made a sad pout and lay beside her carefully, not disturbing Iris. She leaned close to Rose's ear and whispered, "Come on, let's watch a movie, please." Even though Rose melted at her innocent voice, she refused. Scarlett called her 2 or 3 more times, but she didn't agree. So stubborn, Rose thought. Finally, she sat up straight. "If you're sleepy, then come quietly and sleep, otherwise I will," she said. Without wasting a second, her monster quietly laid her head in Rose's lap, too scared to say anything. Rose smiled at her cute antics and slowly began caressing her hair. They didn't even realize when sleep took over them. The next morning, sunlight peeked through the window. Scarlett woke up first, as she disliked daylight. When she noticed Rose stirring awake, she quickly closed her eyes and pretended to sleep. Rose stretched her arms toward the morning sun. She looked at the sleeping Iris and Scar and was about to get up when she suddenly heard, "Didn't you fall today?" Startled by the sudden voice, Rose lost her balance and fell off the bed. "Ouch," she muttered while getting up. "You were awake?" she asked in amusement. Scar smiled sheepishly and jumped off the bed. "How could I miss this ritual? You falling, and then what do you call me?" she pretended to think. Then pulled Rose's cheek and said, "Cute monster." Rose's face turned tomato red with embarrassment, realizing her monster knew about it. She quickly ran away, leaving behind a laughing Scar. At college, Scarlett was walking toward her class when someone said, "Missed me." She recognized the voice immediately and closed her eyes in irritation. "Yes, of course, I was just missing you. I had nothing better to do," she replied sarcastically. Sam laughed and said, "Well, if you don't want to do anything with your wife, then let me. By the way, she looked really hot in the shower yesterday," he added with a wink. Now Scarlett understood what Rose had meant about the small bat. Her eyes turned red with anger. She didn't let Sam speak another word. Grabbing him by the neck, she pinned him against the wall, lifting him slightly off the ground. Rage was clearly visible in her eyes. Sam tried to speak, but he couldn't even stand properly. After a few moments, she released him. He fell to his knees, gasping for air. "In the future, if you even try something like this again, there won't be anyone worse than me," she warned coldly. "This time I let you go, next time I'll take your life." Scar walked away in fury. Sam spat bitterly, his eyes filled with revenge. "I will definitely take revenge on you, and that revenge will be something you can't even imagine." After that day, Scarlett became more serious about her little mouse. She realized that listening to Sam and hurting Rose had been completely wrong. Now she was ready to fight him, even kill him if necessary, but never to hurt her Rose again, never to break her trust again. One day in the college classroom, Scarlett saw Sam talking to Rose. He said something that made Rose smile. She was about to go to them when the professor entered and the lecture began. As soon as the class ended and everyone started leaving, Scarlett grabbed Rose's hand. Zara, who was standing beside her, looked at their hands and then at Scar. Seeing the anger in her eyes, she quickly slipped away. Scarlett locked the door and pinned Rose gently against the blackboard. She took a few deep breaths to calm herself. A similar scene flashed through Rose's mind. the first time Scarlett had forced her in this very classroom. But today she knew her monster wouldn't hurt her. In the past month, trust had grown between them. After a moment, Scarlett spoke softly. "That boy's Sam." Rose nodded. "Stay a little away from him, that's all," Scarlett said gently. Rose nodded innocently. "Now go," Scarlett said, releasing her. Rose smiled at her monster, noticing the difference between that day and today. She has really changed a lot, she thought. Zara, who had been waiting anxiously outside, felt relieved seeing Rose come out smiling. "Did anything happen?" she asked worriedly. Rose smiled warmly. "No, she just wanted to talk." Seeing her friend happy, Zara smiled too. Later, Rose was heading toward the lift when a group of boys looked at each other. "She's the new girl, right? The one who thinks she's so smart, let's scare her," one of them said, and they laughed wickedly. As soon as Rose entered the lift and it began descending, the boys intentionally cut the wire. The lift stopped midway. Rose panicked. She was scared of enclosed spaces. She was claustrophobic. She started calling for help. "Now this will be fun," the boys whispered. Zara, who was waiting on the ground floor, heard muffled cries from the lift gate. She noticed the lift wasn't working. "Rose, is that you?" she shouted. Realizing it was her, she immediately called for help. Within 5 minutes, the entire college had gathered. Scarlett, passing by, noticed the crowd and asked Zara what had happened. Rose is stuck inside, please do something. She's scared of closed spaces," Zara said anxiously. Scarlett immediately called a mechanic, since the lights were still on. "Rose, don't worry, I'll get you out," she shouted. Inside, Rose sat hugging her knees, trembling in anxiety. "Scar, please come quickly," she whispered. As if hearing her heart, Scar replied loudly, "I'm coming, Rose, don't worry." Scar was furious. She grabbed the mechanic by the collar. "How long will it take?" "Madam, someone deliberately cut the wire. It will be fixed soon," he stammered. Scarlett burned with anger. The entire college watched in shock. It was the first time they had seen their rude and arrogant senior care so deeply for someone. Even Zara was stunned. Soon the lift was repaired and the doors opened. Scarlett rushed inside. Rose immediately hugged her tightly, ignoring the thousands of eyes staring at them in shock. "Everything is fine, Rose, don't worry. Are you okay?" Scarlett asked softly. Rose nodded. Her happiness had no bounds. Her monster had called her by her real name for the first time. Scarlett helped her stand and intertwined their fingers before leading her out. Once outside, Scarlett's anger returned. "Who dared to do this?" she shouted. The crowd fell silent. Everyone was terrified of her rage. "I will find whoever did this," she declared coldly. "And I'll punish them so badly that even their next 7 generations will remember me." The boys who were responsible gulped in fear. Scarlett held Rose's hand firmly and said loudly, "Listen carefully. This ticket is booked in my name, Scarlett Ashford, and if anyone even dares to look at her the wrong way, I swear I'll punish you so badly you won't be able to lift your eyes again." Her attitude, swagger, and fury were unmistakable. "We're dead," one of the boys whispered, slapping the one who had suggested the idea. "People are scared to even go near her, and you messed with her girl. We're finished. Pack your bags and leave before Scarlett finds us." They all ran away in fear. After warning everyone, Scarlett didn't stay another minute. She began walking forward as the crowd parted to make way for her. No one wanted to stand in her path. Rose walked behind her, still holding her hand, smiling softly as her heart and mind felt like they were singing in happiness.